Like, oh, people believe what I believe. Next, my third tip might be shocking to you, but hi everyone, my name is kayeramos and welcome to my channel where I share tips to help you gain clarity and purpose as you get closer to Jesus. It's also where I talk about faith, journaling, and of course, intentional living. In today's video, let's talk about some tips on how to share your faith to other people without being too preachy. As followers of Jesus Christ, we are called to share the good news or the message of God to other people. So if we truly love Jesus and other people, we cannot keep the good news to ourselves alone. We have the responsibility to share it to other people. So think about it. Somebody shared the good news to you, right? So somebody was courageous enough to help you get closer to Jesus, or at least prompt you to search more about Him. Now, I don't know who that person in your life is, but there's that one person. Now, the problem we all struggle with is how. This is still a continuous challenge for me, but here are some of my tips for you. Tip number 1, don't be that pushy salesperson. I love window shopping so much, but I don't like it, or I don't like the feeling of someone following me constantly. Most of all, I don't like it when they push products up my throat, leaving me no freedom to reflect and just enjoy shopping. In the first place, I don't actually plan on buying something, but just to lurk around and window shop, right? Have you ever experienced that? When it comes to our faith or sharing our faith, we sometimes become a pushy salesperson. For example, when you are hanging out in a group, then all of a sudden there is that one person who is very preachy about his or her faith, and then all of a sudden it will become quiet. All you hear is crickets because the situation feels awkward. Well, that's how I felt when I was not a believer yet. I know people who are really active Christians and they profess their faith so much, which is a good thing. That means to say they're on fire. I get that they are on fire for Jesus and want to share Him with other people, but sometimes they throw many Bible verses and preaching that I could not understand at that time. So what happened is when I see this kind of people, I try to avoid them because I find their approach too overwhelming. Imagine they would say things that I don't understand. As humans, we don't like to be told what to do. So when we come across as I'm better than you, we tend to repel people away and they might stay away from us. Yes, you might be on fire for Jesus right now and cannot wait to share Him to people that you know, which is a good thing. But remember that they don't share the same enthusiasm yet. And they may sometimes not even understand why you are doing it or how you feel about it. So ask yourself, if someone will share the message to me, how will I prefer them do it? Try to remove your blinders and try to see it from their perspective so we don't end up pushing them away from us. Or maybe share a Christian song that they can listen to, a book that they can read, an encouraging Bible verse, or an inspiring movie. I know that for me, these are some of the ways that other people used to help me go to church. I still remember that I had a friend who first shared a Christian movie to me, then she followed it up after a few days to ask me how I liked it. Then after a few days, she gave me a booklet with questions and explanations about the movie. I actually did not know that she was trying to win me at that time. There was also a time where she invited us to attend a mini youth concert in their church. So her approach was not very intrusive, yet it slowly kindled a fire within me and my other friends to search more about Jesus because we could see that she lives it out. My second tip is to leverage the power of the story. Have you heard the phrase, "You might be the only Bible that people will read"? So when you proclaim that you are a follower of Jesus, or you are a Christian, you are a believer, means you have to live it out. When you claim you are a Christian, people are actually watching and observing you even though you are not aware. When I was still single and working as a teacher, my coworkers would often joke around that maybe I already have so much savings or money in the bank. So they know how frugal I am. I bring my lunch, I don't pay rent, I walk home sometimes, and I'm very intentional on the things that I buy. So the question that they are always dying to know is, hey, what do you do with your money? And for some people, they might find it as an offensive and intrusive question. But I like it when people ask questions because it opens up conversation. And also, it's up to you if you would like to answer the question, right? So I started by opening the principle of tithing and how it changed my view on how I handle finances, because I'm a firm believer of tithing. I still remember vividly when they asked me to sit with them during lunchtime. Well, we usually eat together during lunch anyway and talk about random things. But this time, the focus is about my money. So when I opened up the conversation about tithing, many became curious. Some have ideas and some don't. So I explained to them the Bible principle behind it and how it changed my mentality on using my money. And because of that very engaging conversation, many became aware of my faith. Many became aware of my belief in Jesus. And there were several instances where they would share personal struggles with me and ask me to pray for them and pray with them. So I did not push for what I believe in, like, oh, people believe what I believe. But I also was not embarrassed to share it when an opportunity came. So let us learn from Jesus himself. He is the master storyteller. A lot of people came to know him because he taught using stories. He taught using parables. Next, my third tip might be shocking to you, but conversion is not your goal. Sharing is. So we often pressure ourselves that we need to convert others in order to be an effective Christian or an effective believer. That's a good thing, but we are not God. Even God will not push himself to other people. That's why he gave us freedom to choose. So our responsibility as believers is to share the truth, the good news, and what God is doing in our lives. So God wants us to plant the seed and help water it. Remember that we cannot force a harvest because people have to make the personal decision on their own. We cannot make the decisions for them. The thing is, if we have so much seeds and decided to keep it to ourselves, then don't expect any harvest at all. We need to scatter those seeds so they can also multiply on their own at the right time. You don't need to be too detailed about your faith or your belief. Your lifestyle and actions should also reflect it. So make it a goal to stir curiosity and interest in most of the things that you do. Now you might ask how? By leveraging the platform, stories, opportunities, and experiences that you already have. So be intentional on what you are saying or posting because you never know where the conversation will lead. In short, be an influencer. And when I say influencer, I'm not talking about having a huge following. You don't need to have a huge following on social media in order to be an influencer. You can be an influencer to your circle of friends, to your family, to people around you, to people that you encounter. Jesus said, be the salt and light of the world. I actually like the analogy that he used, which is the lamp. Let me read it. It's in Matthew 5 verses 14. So I will just read the shorter version. You are the light of the world. No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket, because when you light a lamp, you want the light to shine, right? You don't light a lamp and put it under a bed or under a basket, because then that would defeat its purpose. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your Heavenly Father. Let your light shine to other people by sharing the good news to them, not just by words but also through our actions. Next, my fourth tip is to take advantage of small opportunities. So think about ways on how you can incorporate the message of Jesus in your everyday life. I know that this could be challenging at times, but let us try to think of those creative ways. Like I said, what you say might stir up curiosity or open up conversation. So when someone asks, "How are you?" I often say, "I'm feeling extremely blessed. I hope you do too." And that sometimes open up conversation. When we give Christmas gifts, we include messages from the Bible or short Bible verses. When I post something on social media, I try to incorporate a short devotional message or testimony. Be alert on those tiny windows of opportunities where you can express your faith. And one effective thing that you could do is also don't be afraid to share your painful experiences and how God helped you navigate through them. I know that we have the tendency to keep them to ourselves sometimes because we are so embarrassed to share them, but a lot of times that's how people relate to us the most because it makes us feel human. It makes us feel relatable. And a lot of times that's how people get to know Jesus because they could relate to broken people like me, like you. We are often so scared to share Jesus to other people because we don't want to offend people. And we are also afraid to get scrutinized or people might stay away from us. And that is completely understandable. That is the same fear that I have sometimes. But this is what we are called to do. We cannot keep the good news to ourselves alone. So just take that one story of faith and see where it leads you. If you have tips on how you share your faith to other people, please share with us in the comment section below because we all could use some help on this aspect, including me of course. Now, if this video inspires you, I would love it if you hit subscribe and hit that bell button so you will be notified on my future videos. This is Kayeramos and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please don't forget to check out other videos right here. Love you guys and see you again next time. Bye.